As a Subaru owner, you get asked, is your car fast? The answer is no. Hello and welcome back to Subaru. Today, we're just checking out my car.
Oh, sick. What?
All right, let's check out what's under the hood. So what's been done to this thing? Not a whole lot, other than trying to keep it alive.
All right, we have a blow-off valve because we want that. Here's the new unit. Here's the old unit. The new unit has a built-in O-ring gasket. Closed, open. Open, closed.
I got a GFB blow-off valve. Bypass valve. There's no real reason for this part other than I just wanted the sounds. Here we have a modification that actually matters. The radiator.
I have an aftermarket all-aluminum Nishimoto radiator. I can see through my water temp gauge that after installing this radiator, my coolant temps went down, so we know this is working. We need that lower coolant temp so we can keep this car running. Girl, what the fuck? And in the back, we have a Greddy catback exhaust. I think for an exhaust on a Subaru, it seems pretty quiet. I'm happy with it.
A strut bar? Sick!
Cool.
After installing it, you do feel the steering tighten up a little bit, so I would actually recommend this one.
We have a Clutch Masters master clutch cylinder.
The stock one failed, so I got a Clutch Masters.
We have a Cobb electronic boost controller. That way we can control boost to the turbo electronically.
We have a K&N intake filter, a Cobb intake tube, Grimspeed intake tube, and a Perrin intake inlet. It only takes 4 brands to make an intake system.
I didn't really notice a big difference with this other than
The sounds. Amazing! Whoosh whoosh noises. Another Subaru must-have is this called the IAG air oil separator. It's supposed to keep your car alive. It didn't look like the engine bay had enough hoses anyways, so of course, let's add more. I don't know if it makes a difference, but my car's still running, so we're gonna say it does.
I have some miscellaneous Grimspeed hoses here.
Not that I needed aftermarket Grimspeed hoses, but what is that, foam? I'm not really sure what that is. Stock ones were getting worn and cracked and causing boost leaks, so I replaced them all. It's seen better days.
I also upgraded the pitch stop mount to a stiffer one to also help with smoother shifting.
Cracked. That looks great.
This was another modification that surprised me.
Yeah, you can definitely tell a difference when you're shifting. The car feels more solid and shifts feel a little bit more smooth. There's less play, there's less jerking. Gotta quit saying jerking.
Another well-known Subaru mod is the Hella horns. And I've been honking non-stop ever since. Yeah.
We have an STI intercooler. Sweet.
Look at the difference between a stock WRX intercooler and an STI intercooler. There's also an STI hood scoop splitter to go with it.
You know, so we can get that max STI cooling. Sick! Sweet! With the Subaru, you definitely need an upgraded battery, so that's what we did.
Look at this high-performance AGM battery.
And it looks to be a little low. Let's give it its booster seat.
Definitely needed to upgrade my battery to something way more expensive. You just have to make sure to always have power to those extra gauges you have.
Looks like that covers pretty much everything inside the engine bay, so let's get inside the car.
I'm about 6'2", so my seat is all the way back. So spacious. Perfect for a family of 4.
Well, I don't have a family, but does having a dad bod count? Welcome to the cockpit of the Subaru. All right, we've done some modifications in here, mostly with gauges and the shifter. I set up these gauges because there's a few things I wanted to monitor. I have air-fuel ratio, oil pressure, boost, volts, and water temp. The air-fuel ratio gauge is an AEM gauge. The oil pressure, boost, and water temp gauge are all Pro Sport gauges. And then my volts gauge, I just got off eBay. I just needed another gauge to fill the extra spot I had in the gauge pillar. I am pretty tall, so I ended up putting all my gauges up top so I could read them while driving. I found this height to be easier for me to read the gauges than if it were in a gauge bezel on the cluster. Definitely need this JDM Hazard Switch. It works the same as the US one, but it's red. I use open source for tuning on my WRX. After the whole Cobb update, I just went to open source, and it's really been easy ever since. I have an intake, catback exhaust, electronic boost controller, and a tune. To the Subaru world, I have a Stage 1 WRX. One of the best mods and hugest differences I've seen is with aftermarket shifter bushings. All the aftermarket bushings I've installed have been from Cartboy. They were all easy to install, and they all work great. I replaced the shifter with a Cartboy short throw shifter and upgraded the pivot bushings. Smooth. I also installed an aftermarket U-joint linkage to improve shifting. It's not bad, but it's not brass. And I installed new transmission bushings. Do a comparison. Here's the aftermarket Cartboy bushing. Here's the stock bushing. I really enjoy the feel of shifting after upgrading all the shifting components. This is my daily driver, and all I do is shift all day long, so let's make it the best experience I can. I went ahead and changed out the rear differential crossmember bushings.
All right, you'll take your bushing and you'll wedge it right above in there. So the top bushing will go up here, the bottom bushing will go down here. This is where we need another jack. Wow.
And I also installed some rear subframe lockdown bolts.
Yep.
For suspension, I used to have BC coilovers in the front and back, and frankly, the ride was a bit rough. I ended up installing the Petter Sports Riders front and rear strut kit, and it's been great. The ride is nice and smooth. I'm not bouncing all over the place at 60 miles an hour. And I haven't torn any axle boots yet. We got a new suspension on, we got a professional alignment done, so let's test it out. At first I thought the steering felt a bit loose, but it actually feels like I'm turning with power steering now. The rims I bought are Enki TS10s in gold. They're 17x8, 5x100 with a 45mm offset. These rims are wrapped with all-season Yokohamas. For the exterior of the car, I have an STI hood scoop with STI splitter, STI front fenders, an STI front bumper, and STI side skirts. I have a front lip, great for catching snow. For the exterior, I changed out the headlights for new ones. When I bought the car came with aftermarket headlights that had little LED strips in it, and I just didn't really like the look. I wanted something a little different that wasn't OEM, but still had a nice aftermarket look, so I went with the Spec D version 2 LED bar style projector headlights. They have these really cool blinker effects. I think overall, these headlights and bulb combo look great. I just really ended up liking the clean, aggressive look that these headlights give the car. I also switched out the taillights for the 2004 to 2005 WRX Wagon taillights. I'm just personally not a big fan of the Altezas. So many cars had them. Not to mention you would see every single Civic down the road with them.
Which was the style at the time?
Like I said, the car is my daily driver, so I'm not really pushing for power here, more for reliability.
Well, that's not good.
The WRX transmission is known for only about 300, 350 horsepower before it breaks, so I didn't want to push that threshold and have to get a new transmission. For now, I'm fine with the power that it currently makes, but in the future, I would like to upgrade the turbo, downpipe, and possibly the intercooler. Maybe the fuel system. I don't know. We'll see where things go. Maybe I'll get it around an STI power range. I'd like to get it to be a little faster than a stock STI. Who knows, maybe I'll get to stage 2, even stage 3. What's beyond that? I don't even know what's beyond that, really. Let's go for a drive.
No check engine light.
Come on. Realistically though, I'd get one again, absolutely. This thing has been nothing but a joy to drive. I've enjoyed every second of owning it. I'd recommend a Subaru to anyone that's willing to work on it. And that's my Subaru. If you found this video useful, give it a like and subscribe for more Subaru content. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.